Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here reporting for wearechange.org, and unfortunately we are going to have to continue talking about the mass shooting in Las Vegas. Why? Well, because the Las Vegas Police Department and the FBI are clearly lying to the public. And let me first state that my sympathies go out to Sheriff Lombardo, as it is clear that the FBI is handling the dissemination of this information through their special agent, Aaron Rouse, who seems to be in control of what the public gets to find out about this investigation. Now, although FBI Special Agent Aaron Rouse seems to be the agent in charge, he hasn't said a lot at these press conferences. Usually he's lurking over Sheriff Lombardo or his assistant. However, he has come out and said two major things in these press conferences. One, he has asked people with information about the event not to go to the media, but to come to the FBI, which seems to be a means of controlling information.
We're starting an information campaign seeking true knowledge as to what happened in the events leading up to and involving this incident. The billboards will be displayed throughout the Las Vegas area. It will have the badge of the Metropolitan Police and the seal of the FBI on it, along with the terms, if you know something, say something, along with a phone number, which we've agreed will be 1-800-CALL-FBI. This is critical for us.
He's also gone out there and said to trust the FBI so that they can get it right, despite the fact that they continue to feed us disinformation.
We cannot give in to conjecture, and we cannot respond to every little Twitter feed that may indicate a theory. We need to focus on the facts. You need us to be right. You expect us to be right, and we want to be right. The fundamental trust of the American people in the FBI is based upon our discretion. This is about informing on an investigation. This is about resolving an investigation. So specifics regarding any individual contact cannot be answered. You need us, you trust us, and the way we have that trust is by using good discretion about what we share.
So let's get into the proven lies. Now, earlier this week, they were forced to change their timeline and admit that Jesus Campos, a security guard, engaged whoever the mass shooter was 6 minutes before the attack. Now, this raises some very, very large questions.
Last week, we talked about the single person whose action helped pinpoint the location of the suspect, and that was the Mandalay Bay security guard Jesus Campos. As you might imagine, Mr. Campos was not only injured when he was fired upon, as he did his room check about the door alarm down the hall from the suspect's room, but he was also extremely shaken up by what happened to him. He was able to confirm for us exactly what he heard and saw in the moments before he was shot.
And he knocked because of the drilling?
No. There's never been anything out in the public forum about knocking. He was investigating an open door. He became of the drilling sound.
Sheriff, what time exactly did Jesus Campos sustain, the injury? What's the timeline? What time exactly?
Bear with me while I get that for you. 21:59. That would be 9:59. I don't know where you're getting your numbers, but you are correct. He was injured prior to the mass volley of shooting.
Now, as far as the shooter engaging a security guard before the event, this information was almost leaked days prior by the assistant sheriff in Las Vegas. However, he corrects himself as he realizes he's revealing too much.
The question is, was the security officer shot before the suspect was shooting into the crowd? The answer to that is yes, we believe he was shot. We believe that he was shooting into the crowd, and then the security officer was shot during that event.
Now remember, originally they stated that Jesus Campos engaged the shooter after shots had been fired on the ground, which would make sense. Somebody up on that floor hearing shots coming from a room and then confronting that person. What is not clear now is somehow Campos engaged him a full 6 minutes prior. Why? Why was he suspicious? Apparently, Campos was checking on a door alarm at a separate room. So how would he have even come across room 135 or any suspicious behavior taking place in that room? The police have also admitted that at least 200 rounds were fired through that door. Well, if 200 rounds were fired through that door 6 minutes before the shooting, then why was the response time so lax? Now, another thing that is extremely suspicious about the security guard angle is that originally police thought that there was a shooter on the 29th floor that had engaged a firefight with security.
We're told that security is taking fire from a suspect on the 29th floor, and that we had other officers that were identifying the suspect was in a room on the 32nd floor. So we're thinking multiple shooters at this point.
Now, this information dovetails with quotes from Brian Hodge that were widely reported in the media. Mr. Hodge apparently had been checked into the room next to the shooter and coming up from the hall after dinner before and then when the shooting began. Now, one of the quotes that is attributed to him is that a security officer had been shot and killed. Now, the reason that we can't really tell whether this is true or not is that Mr. Hodge was also attributed a quote saying that there were multiple shooters on multiple floors. However, he denied this himself on his own Facebook page only days after the attack. Now, another thing that we know that law enforcement has lied to us about is when Stephen Paddock checked into the hotel. Originally, they told us that he had been there since the 28th.
Sheriff, you said he checked in on Thursday, the 28th, to the hotel.
I believe that's accurate.
And then a receipt from his room on the 32nd floor, room 135, leaked to the public. On this receipt, it is clear that there are 2 guests checked in and 2 dinners were ordered. Now, the police continue to lie about this despite the fact that they have admitted that he was checked in on the 25th.
Sheriff, when did he check into the hotel? And what date did he check into the hotel?
Best of my recollection, we have information on the 25th. I had told you previously the 28th. We're trying to confirm his actions between the 25th and the 28th. I'm under the belief that he was not occupying the room between those days.
They are claiming that to their knowledge, he wasn't in that room until the 28th. However, the receipt clearly says the 27th, so we know that law enforcement continues to lie about this angle as well. Why? It's also worth noting that the police have now said that they have gone through a massive amount of the video footage and followed Paddock throughout Las Vegas for days. Well, if this is the case, they know full well when he checked into that room and who he was with at that room at all times. On a final note, I'd like to point out that although this video showed no violence of the Las Vegas massacre, it will probably be demonetized anyway, despite the fact that all of the major networks that have shown violence in their clips continue to be sponsored financially by YouTube and others. This is a huge problem, folks, and what it amounts to is censorship. And that's why we need you to share this video on social media.
Response, we determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect at that location. He is dead currently. So there is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything. Reference this investigation. The dynamics and the size of this investigation requires us to go through voluminous amounts of information in order to draw an accurate picture. My intent, like I stated earlier, is to give you information as I know it, unverified, to calm the public. So there is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything reference this investigation. The response, we determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect at that location. He is dead currently. Additionally, anybody that may have cell phone video or any type of video associated with this event that would be a benefit to the investigation, please respond to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department headquarters at 400 South Martin Luther King, and we will take custody of that video. So if you have it, you evaluate it, and you think it would be a benefit, please bring that down to the headquarters. There's been multiple phone calls and accusations or conjecture coming through social media that there's multiple shooters at other resorts. That has been proven to be false. Additionally, there's been accusations or beliefs there's some explosives going off. That is also false. The only explosive contained in this event was from our SWAT team breaching the room. So please, we are pretty confident that there is no longer a threat.
After clip, bullets flying everywhere, everybody running. It was really, really bad.
And you guys said that there were multiple shots fired.
We were the furthest VIP stages away from Mandalay Bay, and they were ricocheting everywhere where we were. So they were firing from somewhere high, and they were unloading clip after clip after clip after clip.
So there was a shooter, you believe?
Multiple shooters.
Multiple shooters.
It has to be.
How many people were hit? Did you see?
We have no idea. Hopefully none, but there was obviously people hit.
Did you guys see any victims? I mean, as far as...
We just saw one drive by right now,
hanging out of the back of the truck.
CPR.
Out of the back of a truck right now, CPR.
Wow.
There's bullets ricocheting, like bounced down by the bottom of our feet because we all got on the floor, crawling out, rushing, because everybody's rushing out.
Sounded like two firecrackers, ended up being hundreds of shots.
Yeah.
So it sounded like hundreds of shots.
It was hundreds of shots.
It was.
It wouldn't sound like it was hundreds of shots.
And then what happened? I mean, how long ago did this happen?
5 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's still, people are still running scared. The back streets are all full of people trying to hide out. I mean, it sounded like a firecracker, and then it ended up not sounding like a firecracker at all.
What did you guys think when you first heard this?
We heard two little crackles.
I thought it was like technical or like just something just wrong with the stage, and then it started happening again. That's when everybody started rushing.
The building, I ran to the other side, they were shooting again. Okay, there was two shooters. There was different places shooting. Okay.
And how many rounds did you hear go on?
It was a machine gun. I heard like about 15, 20 rounds went off quick. You know, I know it was a machine gun because I'm a Vietnam vet, and it was really going off a lot.
Did you hear instructions from SWAT? Did they tell you to do anything?
Well, the police on one area was telling everybody get out, get out, get out. And then when I came down the other end trying to get out, there was other police telling everybody get out. That's when I heard the second round going on. You know, but
other witnesses mentioned that they heard gunfire directed across the street towards Las Vegas, across Las Vegas Boulevard towards a concert, Route 91.
Right, that was different. But they had people in here too, two shooters in this building.
So there was a shooter, you believe?
Multiple shooters.
Multiple shooters.
It has to be.
Humanly possible way that guy, that was the only shooter. If you were where we were and how we were hidden and the way they came in and herded us all out.
And interspersed in between while maybe reloading or something, there was interior gunfire.
We tried to run into MGM and then everyone ran out of MGM saying there was shooting, and we tried to run this way and the same thing happened, and then we just hid in a bush for like an hour.
It was crazy. So then we make it out and we run toward the Tropicana Hotel.
Which is right next door.
We get inside and then we're trying to figure out like a way to get out, where to go. And then we hear somebody yell, "The shooter's in here," and then everybody starts running out of there.
Everyone started to get up to run. They just kept shooting, and it was like literally like 5 minutes of just shooting, and people just kept dropping. And it was definitely someone on the ground. Definitely, most definitely. The way they herded the crowd and all of us, and then they kept coming. They even came into the back staff parking lot and shot people out there too. So they just kept coming, and I hope they get them. And what was?
So there is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything. Reference this investigation.
Too much, but when people get shot around you, you can hear it. You can hear when the bullets actually make contact with the body, and that is a very, very, very. It's very hard to hear. You don't want to hear that. You can hear when the bullets don't hit, and you can hear when the bullets do. And I heard more bullets hitting than didn't. So we're getting over now, and now we're running across the street, and we hear shots coming from like Hooters, MGM area. Over there, there was shots coming from over there, and there was shots going from Mandalay Bay. Sorry, my brother's girlfriend's getting home right now. So shots were going from Mandalay. You know, they were really deep, really far, and then you can hear like a. Hey, Rocky. Shh. Shh. So we're hearing multiple shots now, and this was our first encounter to multiple shots. And we're running. So it was a terrorist attack. It was a terrorist attack. Okay, I just want everybody to realize what happened last weekend, exactly 1 week ago, was a terrorist attack. It was group organized, it was choreographed, and I don't want anyone thinking that it was a one-person shooter. There's no way in hell a 64-year-old untrained man can shoot an automatic military-grade weapon from a 34th floor at a declining grade and hit people, and bullets are going like this, not like this. I mean, there's bullets that were hitting people on the pelvic and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that a 64-year-old man can shoot an automatic military-grade weapon for 10 minutes straight. There's no way. And if you believe that, I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry.
So there is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything. Reference this investigation.
No. No. I'm just unsatisfied, yeah, with the news that has been reported. I've obviously been watching everything and trying to research myself, but it just doesn't make sense. How are you going to, like, not talk to the people that were there and just change the subject to finding a motive?
Right.
I mean, the reports are saying a lot of people were shot in the middle of the crowd or in the front, like right by the stage. That angle doesn't make sense to me at all, because the 32nd floor window wouldn't even hit those people right in front of the stage. The lady behind me, I'm not sure if that, I mean, a sniper, I have no idea. I just know it sounds like two different guns. I know that the sounds were different. The fact that I'm not the only one that thinks that they're being chased, and I listened to my friend's story after I met up with them. Again, I lost all of them afterwards, and I met up with them 2 days later and heard their stories, and they said the exact same thing, and they weren't with me.
So what about you? Did you also get the feeling that as you were running further away from the Mandalay that the shots were getting closer?
It was interesting because when we split up and we both were heading, she went off on her own, but I was able to stay with one of our mutual girlfriends. And when we were on our way exiting and going over those two fences, we headed towards the airport also. And after we had hopped the first wall that we hit, at one point, one of my girlfriends looked at me and she goes, "Does it sound like it's getting closer?" And I said, "Yeah." And at that point, I grabbed her hand and we started praying in this bush that we were hiding in.
At the airport?
We weren't at the airport yet, because as we were running, we were hiding in landscape, because you could only go 5 or 10 yards and then you had to take cover.
Yeah, then you kept, like, I switched where I hid like 5 times.
Yeah,
because who does that unless you feel like you're about to fucking die, like someone's coming towards you?
We went through a lot, but it's interesting because I've talked to everyone that was in our group.
How many people?
There was about 8 of us at that time, and I've also talked to other friends of mine that were there that I didn't know was there until recently, And everyone that was on the ground that I've spoken to, we all know what we heard. And there's a difference between an echo and different firepower. And there was definitely more than one weapon being used.
Or not, there are.
It also would correlate with a bunch of people telling me, and close friends telling me, that there was shootings up and down the strip. It would make sense as well. You're confusing the whole strip, which would make the police have a delayed response. They're responding to so many different calls, and a lot doesn't make sense. But I don't know. I know what I heard, so that's why it's important for me to share the video that my friend, provided me, that I'm clearly, like, I told my story before I even had this video, and I said I saw a woman shot before, no single shots. And then 2 days later, I got this video, and I'm like, holy like, I started crying, because I was like, it shows me looking back at where I thought someone got shot. Like, that's enough proof for me. Like, why would I lie about something? I'm not trying to go against the police or anything. I think that some of them, most of them did a great job. Like, they responded, and I get it, and I get that you don't want to scare the public as well. And the sheriff has even said, everything I've done is to calm the public. Everything I've said is to calm the public. I get it, but I'm not calm. Like, I'm upset. Yeah, either silenced or let's let Las Vegas heal and move on. I'm like, I'm sorry, my healing is getting answers.
Do you have any experience shooting guns? Are you a gun?
I have shot guns before, actually, like at the range in the desert. Yeah.
So when you were there at the concert and you heard the gunfire, did it sound like it was coming from very far away, up in a hotel room, inside a room with a tiny little window, or did it sound like it was pretty close to you?
It sounded very close. It sounded, let me give you an example. When it first started going off in the crowd, the first place I looked was in the middle of the crowd, and that's where people were freaking out, and it was very loud to what's ground level. And as I was running and as I was listening to people run, everybody was saying, shooters, shooters. Like, nobody said Mandalay Bay. Nobody, I'm sorry, nobody thought it was coming from the building at all.
Could you smell gunpowder? Could you smell?
I couldn't. I actually have a friend, though, that was there bartending at that event, and I have her message from her because I asked her about it, and she said she could smell gunpowder.
So there is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD, and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything. Reference this investigation. I
definitely do believe that there was 100% more than one shooter. Every other person that I've talked to that did get unfortunately hit as well have all said the same things. When we got shot initially, didn't care which way it came from. I just know it was time to run. We ran about 200 yards in a 180-degree line from where the gunshots were coming from, at least the sounds. Got behind a car, made a call to my parents, and I thought that's kind of where I'm hanging out right now, at least until everything kind of subsides. Past that, I'm waiting, and all of a sudden we hear the little whizzing going by us, and the bullets are just flying by. And when something's coming up and down, or at least from a different angle, they're either going to hit the ground, they're going to a lot of different things are going to happen. When someone's shooting from a straight horizontal line, it's just going to keep flying. As soon as we heard a little break in it, we knew we had to keep running. We heard the gunfires approaching where we were. They just started getting closer and closer and louder. And I knew we were getting gunshots that were closer to us than where they originally started, and that's when we knew we had to run. I do believe that there were people inside of the venue that once the initial shooting started, and everyone kind of panicked, running everything, once the lights turned on the stage and kind of lit everything up, it was a lit target. Every other night at the concert, everybody kind of exited right off Las Vegas Boulevard. That was standard. That was routine. You get out of the concert and you go down and go to the next casino. Well, at 10 o'clock, they closed every exit on Las Vegas Boulevard, every single one. They gated them all closed with chain link fences. 10:08, the shooting started, and it was we were pigs sitting in a corral. We only had one exit to go out of, and I'm sure nobody was familiar with where we were going. everyone was just running, kind of following the sheet is what we were doing. The same exits that we have came in and left Friday and Saturday night were definitely closed. There were people that went over there and tried to leave, and there were cops that were telling them, no, you have to go the other way. You can't come out here. Go the other way, run the other way. There was just a lot of things that just kind of didn't sit right. Of course, they're trying to come up with and try and close this as quick as they can, and try and put this behind everybody, the whole country, the whole nine. But it was just very interesting, with all the police activity, even at the hospitals, interviewing the patients. I don't think one patient has been able to leave without giving another statement, myself included. As soon as I got discharged, there were 2 federal agents that wanted to get another audio statement when I left. And I'm telling them the same thing I'm telling you. I definitely believe there were at least 3 to 5 shooters, and 100% there was not just one person shooting from the 32nd floor.
So there is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD, and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything. Reference this investigation.
I remember 3 long volleys before we were able to get towards that fence where we could get out. And there was another long volley as we were exiting that fence, and we briefly ducked behind a police SUV was right there. It had the back open, and we kind of just ducked behind it for a second. And I was looking for threats, and I was looking for a way to go. And as we were ducked behind that police SUV, all of a sudden I heard from my right side, which would have been, if you're looking at the stage, to the left of the stage.
Yes.
And I just heard, like really loud. Like it was just too close to have been the original shooter.
No way from the hotel. No way.
No, it's no way. It wasn't coming from the direction of the hotel. It was to my right-hand side. If you look at Google pictures of the venue, there's like a construction site behind the stage, and it was from that general area. I don't know exactly how far, but loud enough to where I'm like, that's very close. And I'm a shooter. I belong to a private gun club. I've been all over at different ranges when people are at the rifle range shooting, and that sounded like these people were within maybe 150 or 200 yards at most. This gun was couldn't have been more than 200 yards away from us based on how loud it was from where we were. What I'll say there is I never personally saw with my own eyes somebody else shooting at me. That being said, what my ears told me and what it just felt like, because you could hear bullets too, Jeff. You could hear bullets going by. They cause a whoosh when they're close enough to you to hear. And initially, when we were taking cover and you could hear these bullets going by, you also heard and saw evidence of them hitting the ground near you, right? But when we were running out of the venue and it sounded like there was a shooter to our right, I heard that loud sound of somebody who sounded like they were closer, and you could hear bullets and nothing hitting the ground.
Oh, yes. How many volleys from the gunman or gunmen that you suspect were shooting at ground level?
That I personally heard, that I can say, I'm convinced that this guy was on the ground, was basically 3 bursts from our right-hand side as we were exiting the venue. The initial shots were so clearly from our southwest, but so that's why we initially started moving northeast. But as we moved, as we got out, it sounded like, there were shots from our south as well. So we were just trying to keep moving and get as far away from that venue as we could. I didn't want to run into a little building where, somebody might run in behind us and shoot everybody.
Exactly. All right, you're running toward Hooters. What happens next?
So we run towards Hooters. We're moving around Hooters. There's a back door in Hooters that a lot of people are funneling into, but we didn't do that because we just didn't feel safe going into a space like that. all of a sudden there was a stampede of people trying to get away from Hooters. Like everybody was funneling into Hooters, and then all of a sudden everybody was trying to get away from Hooters. So we started sprinting again with the crowd to get away from there. So many people don't understand, they don't get it, but it just feels like we were attacked by our own government, and whether or not they orchestrated or not, the fact that they're not willing to be honest with the people about what happened, it just makes you sick. My wife has said a number of times she feels like we were in the Hunger Games.
So there is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything reference this investigation. The dynamics and the size of this investigation requires us to go through voluminous amounts of information in order to draw an accurate picture. My intent, like I stated earlier, is to give you information as I know it, unverified, to calm the public.
So I thought it'd be a good idea to get to the top of the hotel where I was staying. I'm at the Delano, and there's a Skyfall Lounge, a bar that overlooks the Strip at the top. So I went to the 64th floor to go to the Skyfall Lounge, and it was full of people drinking. Nobody had any idea what was going on. And I had a bird's eye view of the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival right across the street. My friend and I personally saw crowds of people running out of the festival and bodies hitting the ground. We actually watched these people getting gunned down from the shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay.
Were you able to see the shooter?
We didn't see, we couldn't see the Mandalay Bay at all from where we were. The Mandalay Bay was behind us. We could only see the music festival and people running away.
And so you're there high up on top of this building right now, and you're seeing people dropping down. Did you get a sense that maybe they were just, did you really realize what was happening at the moment, that they were being trampled, or that they were actually people who were being shot at that moment?
At the moment, we did realize that they were being shot. We could hear the gunshots. Coupled with what we heard of machine gun fire downstairs, we knew that it was an active situation. At that point, we actually went to go downstairs to the lobby to see if we could find out more. And when the elevator got to the lobby and the doors opened, the air just reeked of gunpowder, and crowds of people were running to the elevators trying to escape. And I guess at that moment, there was also shooting going on inside of the Mandalay Bay. So a little bit later, I got on Periscope and started broadcasting. I had a little over 10,000 viewers watching, and I was down there while it was evacuated, and there was nobody out there. The front desk was gone. It was totally, like a ghost town. And we actually met up with these other guys who were also looking, trying to find some information. And we met up with these security guards and police officers who asked us what we were doing and told us to run away, and we heard gunshots from around the corner. We were in the Delano, right next to a walkway that connects the Mandalay Bay at the Delano, and we heard gunshots from right out that hallway, so we think that the police were dealing with the shooter while we were down there.
People like running everywhere. There's people running for like their lives because I mean they're afraid they're gonna get shot. All right, this is live right now at Mandalay Bay. We don't really know what's going on. We're locking down right now though. We're not gonna let any fucking gunman get in here.
Can you tell Kylie to make some...
I will tell... What do you mean?
At least make some kind of announcement.
Alright. So we are going to sort this out right now. Kylie! Can you make some sort of announcement to everybody inside the pub? So we're sorting this out right now. Excuse me! Excuse me! If we can have your attention for 1 second!
Hey everybody, 2 seconds, yeah? Okay.
There is an active shooter in Mandalay Bay, so check the door is locked, everything. Everyone stay calm. I'll let you know if we hear anything.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to shut the doors for a little bit.
Attention everybody, attention, this is Felicia, the manager on duty.
Excuse us! Please listen!
Everybody, please, can I get your attention? All right. Looks like there's some kind of emergency on the floor in the casino right now. Everybody's running. It's just for everybody's safety. We're going to close the doors right now. Just everybody, just relax. All right. Until I get more news about what's going on. So
we are sorting this out. We are trying to figure out what's going on. We don't really know. We locked the doors. We got everyone kind of freaking out. All my coworkers aren't really easy. It's pretty fucking trippy. Like someone might come in here and like kill us all.
Now some time passes, and while the guests and the employees are there in the restaurant listening to the news and getting updates, source number 7 mentions his friend, source number 8. I'm going to show you a clip here of source number 8. Pay attention closely to what she says. It's very important. She explains not only that the news is not reporting what is really going on, but she provides testimony that there is activity still going on more than 2 hours past the time that the shooting toward the concert venue had stopped, that there was still a lot of activity involving multiple gunmen. She knows a lot of this because she was watching footage from the internal security cameras, and also because she was listening to a police scanner, a scanner which at a later point was cut off so she couldn't monitor it anymore.
we're like watching all this news, like we're getting updates from like the craziest apps and like from just people that we don't even talk to. So we really appreciate that. Do you know shit is going down where you're at right now, or did they move on? I know the lady, our friend at the flip-flop store said there was some stuff going on behind her shop. I don't know about that. She does, but that's like down the hall a little bit.
From what I know, which is almost nothing, I know more than what people on the news are getting, which is nothing. Everybody is saying that, you know, one person is shot dead at Mandalay Bay. Yeah, but that was an hour ago, and the news is just now reporting it. Like, whatever you guys are seeing on the media is not what's going on down here, and it is unfortunately a very, very... It's much worse than what the media is letting you guys think. Like, being stuck inside of Mandalay Bay for 2.5 hours, like, it is that bad. Like, more people than what they're saying on the news are injured. More shooters than what they're letting you guys know are there. There are more shooters. There are, you know, possible bomb threats. There's somebody in the bathroom at Luxor with a gun. I don't know if that is still happening, but the news is not reporting that. The news is trying to make this as calm as possible when it just absolutely isn't. It's not. It's worse than what people are saying. It's so much worse that they shut off my police scanner. I know someone said that their scanner is still working. That's fine, but the news isn't reporting what's actually going on, and it is a lot worse than what people are actually seeing. I'm still locked in the Mandalay Bay, and I am alone. They're saying so many different things, but they're not saying everything. There are more shooters than what's being reported, or I don't know. Like, the things that I'm hearing have already happened like an hour ago. It's now almost 1 o'clock. I'm still in the Mandalay Bay. I've heard that they're gonna be evacuating the Michael Jackson Theater, which is just like, I don't know, maybe like a yard or two away from me, like not that far away. I don't know what's going on. Nobody said anything, but I do know that it is a lot worse than what people are saying, and it's a lot worse. I hear yelling. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm kind of nervous. But there is yelling. There's people outside. There's somebody running.
You may have picked out among the many things that she mentioned was corroborating testimony about what I've told you in past episodes, specifically about the man with a gun in the Luxor hotel bathroom, as well as one or more bomb threats. She's hearing all of this on the police scanners, and like many of the other witnesses that we've heard throughout this series, she's upset. She's upset that neither law enforcement nor the media is talking about anything more than just that single gunman that they say was on the 32nd floor. She knows there's more. She can hear the police talking about it. She can see activity right outside of where she's at. Remember, she said that she is just around the corner from the, or next to the Michael Jackson 1 theater. She said she could see people running. She heard yelling. This is around the area where the activity that the others who were down at the Delano, this is around the area that they witnessed activity as well. So we have multiple witnesses from different places in this complex reporting on the same events. Next, we're going to see the evacuations begin. Everyone has been locked up until this point, and now they're going to start to move people out. First, they remove the people who are not employees. So they're moving the people out in waves. First, they get the guests and the people who are not working there in the complex, they get them out. There is later a second wave of extractions where they take people. Gradually, they're moving many of these people into the Michael Jackson Theater.
I feel like I'm in a movie, kind of. It's just so crazy. Like, it makes my heart hurt. How someone could do this shit, I don't even know. How multiple people could do this.
My coworker Alyssa, she said that they were going to be evacuating the Michael Jackson Theater. It had about 1,000 people stuck inside of there. Luckily, it's just me in the store, but I haven't heard anything from anybody. I just know that what you guys are seeing on the news is not what's actually happening. The things that you guys are hearing on the news, it's much worse than what you guys are hearing. It's much worse. It's so much worse. They shut off my police scanner. One minute I'm hearing about bombs, next minute somebody else with a gun. I don't know. I don't see any more people walking. I don't hear any more people in the hallways. So far, nobody's contacted my store, which the phone is with me. I'm just waiting at this point. It's 1 o'clock now.
They're like evacuating people. Oh, okay. Just guess. So we're doing evacuations. Just the good people of Las Vegas that don't work here get to leave.
Okay, so I'm hearing there's evacuations. I'm not sure.
Everybody has to go? Alright, we're leaving. We are getting out of here. I'm inside Mandalay Bay.
I stepped out from the back. I hear people talking. So far, okay, oh my gosh. I'm fucking scared.
We're gonna get you to the Michael Jackson Theater.
Okay. Do I get out the back? Do I get out the back or here?
Open the gate. Open the gate, come on.
Okay, we're gonna have to go this way. We have like 12 cops in Michael Jackson Theater. You know what that is?
Leave the shop as is, man. This is
Don't worry
like
about
the
it.
last of our things. Yeah, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Ma'am, let's go. There's possible we're trying to get you to a safe place.
So I am being evacuated. I don't know. I'm alone. I don't know. So far, everybody at Re-Raws is still there. They wouldn't let me shut the door, so the door is open. Being evacuated now. We're going to the Michael Jackson Theater. So far, nothing yet. I'm just trying to get downstairs. There's more SWAT teams. I don't know. I'm just going down the escalators. The gate for my store is still open. Does that matter? I'm at flip-flop shop.
Straight over there to the right, all the way down.
I don't know.
I picked up on something that I'll share with you. It may be nothing, but it sounds to me, as she comes down the escalator and is trying to explain that her shop was still unlocked, people in the background yell at her to go, to keep moving. To me, the sound of these people sounds very much like the sound of the yelling that I heard in the audio clip of those Delano witnesses who saw a SWAT team around the time that there were gunshots. So I'm going to play both of these, and you can listen and decide for yourself. To me, it sounds like it's the same group of people, but you can judge for yourself.
I'm at flip-flop shop.
Now we're going to watch the evacuation of source number 7. As he comes down the escalator, what I want you to pay attention to is this is the same viewpoint, the same perspective from that video that I showed you of the body laying on the ground face down. If you look in this video, I don't see any body there, so on the ground. And this is, again, a few hours after that video would have been shot, the earlier video. So if there was a body there previously, it doesn't appear to be there now.
All right, so we're moving, and we're going to the Michael Jackson Theater downstairs. There's a police officer, and we have officers. Yes, sir. That's where we're headed. Holy fuck, my heart is pounding. I'm like, I can't. Ooh, fuck. You know, like when you get like the shivers from like. Holy shit. That's how I feel right now. This place is fucking empty. There's nothing. Oh, I cannot stop shivering. This fucking sucks. Let's go. Yes, sir. Alright, so we are headed into the Michael Jackson Theater right now. This is the casino. There's no one fucking here. There's absolutely nobody here. Nah, there's fucking nobody, man. Okay. Alright. We're going into the Michael Jackson Theater. Thank you. Now we're in safe hands. We have friends around, we have Metro around. Thank you guys. Making sure everything goes according to plan. We're going up the stairs into the Michael Jackson Theater.
There's like literally thousands of people in there, so there's like 2,000 people in there.
There are hundreds and hundreds.
Keep in mind that this is all happening well beyond, at least a few hours beyond when Stephen Paddock is allegedly shot and shoots himself. And yet, despite this being after 1 o'clock in the morning, at least, there is still talk circulating among the people because they can hear the police scanners around them. There is still a manhunt for a shooter on the 4th floor of the hotel. And this manhunt has been going on for a while. They're looking for him. They believe there's another shooter there. They can't locate him. You'll hear this a number of times as we move forward. And this is further confirmed by the words of one police officer who tells the crowd, this is not over. This is still going on.
It says 4th floor. There's a person here on the 4th floor right now.
Are you serious?
Hey, we need you guys going in, alright? It's not over. We need you guys to go in.
Yes, sir.
Stay with me.
Hey.
Stay with me.
And we're here in the theater now. Now we're just... Baby, I'll follow you wherever you want to go. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. There's people here on the walls. There's people on the floor. We're just trying to find a place to fucking hide from these pieces of shit.
Is this where we're gonna stay? I don't know. Should we go down?
Yeah, no, go find a seat. You guys gotta go sit down.
We gotta find a seat somewhere, but there's no seats to be had. I think there's literally like, look at all these people. Oh, you can't see shit. Yeah. You can't see anything in here. It's pitch fucking black.
And after they move the people into the theater, there are hundreds, if not thousands, depending on which account you listen to. There are tons of people in this theater, and they have the lights out. They're locking the doors from the inside so they can't be opened from the outside. If what we're being told is true, by Sheriff Lombardo, who at this point had already gone out and done that press conference with Aaron Rouse in the background. This is the one where Sheriff Lombardo is in the green jacket standing outside, and he says there have been multiple reports of many shooters. That is it. There is no one else. And yet his own officers inside are still telling the people this is not over. They're locking the doors, they're guarding them, they're having them hide in the dark, and there are still police scanner chatter of the hunt for the person on the 4th floor. That tells us conclusively that Sheriff Lombardo was either, one, an idiot who didn't know what was actually happening during the investigation, or two, he was lying.
No, we're here. We're like, my camera's like shaking.
I need those doors up top to be shut, please.
We're at Mandalay Bay right now.
Those locked from the outside, and we need those to be shut. We do not have the officers to go and stand by those doors. Keep them shut, please.
This is just out of control.
Okay, you just heard over the loudspeaker, the police saying to keep the doors shut. And now you're going to hear that from source number 8's cell phone footage as well. So listen to that. This is where we are syncing everything together.
So I'm almost to the theater.
I need those doors up top to be shut, please. Those locked from the outside, and we need those to be shut. We do not have the officers to go and stand by those doors. Keep them shut, please.
Where are you going?
I didn't know where to go.
Okay, just go somewhere, anywhere.
Did you hear that last little shot?
Can I see here? So far, I don't know what's happening.
You can't even see me, it's so dark in here. I don't even know how many people are actually watching, but it's pretty fucking quiet in here. It's pretty wild. Yeah, everyone in Mandalay Bay is in the theater. They put us in here to quarantine us off because there's like at least 20 cops here. They're guarding the doors, and it's a feeling of dread in here. That's what it is. It's the only way to describe what's going on in here. It's just absolute dread. I don't know much about the situation besides that there's still, my friend tells me there's still an active one on floor 4. Does it come from? You guys can't really see me, but now I'm like talking to you. They cleared the 4th floor. I guess they're still searching for him, and one person's dead, the bad guys, and I don't know, I can't really think straight, to be honest with you. This just sucks. That's all I got to say. I think I'm gonna get off now if my broadcast is getting that interrupted. I'll keep you guys updated on what happens and where we're at and when we get home.
I just want to pause momentarily to poke my finger in the eye of the Wall Street Journal and the rest of the media publications that called me fake news, who called me a conspiracy theorist in that first week after the shooting. Why? Because I was suggesting that there was evidence that there may have been a shooter on the 4th floor of the Mandalay Bay. They all said this was fake news, conspiracy theory, and it was justification for why they need to crack down on alternative media. In fact, the video in which I talked about the evidence of a shooter on the 4th floor, YouTube had deleted that, and they gave me a community strike, even though it had 2.5 million views and outranked every news publication out there, including CNN, MSNBC, The Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Now don't you people feel stupid? Now that you see that there is ample evidence that the police, hours after Paddock was dead, that they were still hunting for a shooter on the 4th floor. Whether he was there or not is irrelevant. They believed that there was a shooter there. Now don't you feel dumb for calling me fake news? Who's the fake news now? Well, at this point, the people in the theater are moved downstairs. Those that were upstairs are moved downstairs, and they're allowed to use the restrooms. And you're going to see that source number 7 and source number 8 actually link up together and find one another and talk about their experiences a bit.
I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just becoming so... I don't even know, but this sucks. I want to go to the bathroom, but there's a stupid line.
Also, if anybody needs to be evacuated or knows somebody who does, please reach out to either myself or my boyfriend is an Uber and Lyft driver, and he has been giving rides to anybody who needs one.
They're evacuating us via cat buses. Fucking buses, like where the fuck am I going? My car is upstairs, so I don't know. The line's pretty fucking crazy here.
They're not really saying what's going on.
Yeah, let's check it.
I just want to go home.
All these people are just...
Let us go home. They want to put us on buses.
We're on lockdown here, so...
They won't let us go home.
Yo, we're going to Thomas and Mack?
That's what they said, yeah.
We're going to Thomas and Mack? Why the fuck would I... Holy shit.
They're just trying to get us all on buses and then get us out of the hotel.
But then they end up back in the theater, and you are going to see something that is truly bizarre. You are going to see source number 7 in a state of absolute terror. Why? Because the police unexpectedly ordered everyone in the theater to get down on the floor. Why? Because they believed that a shooter was in the area and the people's lives were in danger. Watch it for yourself.
Okay, we're down on the ground right now. We're waiting. We don't know what the fuck's happening. I don't know. Just stay down. Get up. Hey, it's okay. It is okay. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We need to get up. We need to get out of here. They just told us to get down. Everybody in the entire theater just got the fuck down on the floor. Talk about a fucking heart attack. Let's go. It's okay, baby. Come on. Sorry about that. You're okay. So we're leaving. We don't know what just happened. Everyone in the entire place just got down. I know, baby. I know you don't. We're gonna get out of here. It's gonna be okay. Come on, baby. It's okay. Here, give me your purse. Give me your stuff.
Mommy. Mom,
This way to the bus. So yeah, that was really terrifying.
Oh no.
See, look at our man right here. He's ready to fuck shit up. Don't even worry about it. So we're almost, that's the exit. We're making sure everything is good to go. We're almost out of Mandalay Bay. And yeah, this door being open though. We're getting this sorted out. It's pretty dark now, you can't really see much, but I'll update you guys if anything else crazy, like what just fucking happened, happens.
After this scare, the police then move the people out the side door of the theater, load them on buses, and transport them a good distance away from the area, despite the fact that many of these employees, or actually all of the employees, had their personal belongings, their cars, and so forth there at the area. Nope, they take them all off. They want to get them away from the hotel. They're not treating just the 32nd floor as a crime scene. They're treating the entire complex, the entire Mandalay Bay Hotel, the casino, the theaters, everything. What's most important is that you get the employees away from it. And that's very strange. That is, if we're to believe that the police actually thought that there was a shooter on the 32nd floor and nowhere else, that he didn't do anything else. If that's the case, what was going on in the theater? What was that scare about? Well, I'll let you watch the last few moments here of them as they depart on the buses, and then we'll come back and wrap it up.
Alright, so now we're loading. We are walking to we finally made it. We're out. We're in the world, and the cat buses that are here to pick us up. Thank you guys for your service. We appreciate you. And we're headed to these shuttles now. We're going, fucking cold. And this is what we're doing. Getting on to these messy buses. Heavy police presence. I like it. I like it. What are those called? Is it called strike teams? Oh, this guy's not having it. I'm like shaking.
I'm
still.
literally
Thank you. Here we are, we're getting on the bus now. So we're here, we're on the bus, we made it. We're leaving the danger zone and everything's good, we're alive.
So anybody that's watching, my phone's not working, but I'm safe, alright?
Yeah, he's good to go. So our fucking boss just stopped and we picked up a guy. And that's fucking weird, I think. I don't know what's happening. This dude is just standing there. Alright, so we're safe and sound. We're in a car. Not my car, I'll get that tomorrow. But my brother and my mom came through and we're safe and sound. My eyes look like they've seen better days. We are tired and ready to go home and sleep, and yeah, what an eventful night. Thanks again, Mom, for coming to get me.
Of course, I love you and I'm glad you're safe.
Yay. Sorry to all the families that, you know, lost somebody or someone just got hurt, but good vibes your way. Stay safe, Vegas. We're safe now, so.
I hope that this video has been enlightening. It, in my opinion, confirms a lot of the testimony, or at least it complements a lot of the testimony that we have already heard from other witnesses. Was this a real shooting? Was there shooting activity with live rounds, or was this part of a drill? More and more, what we are seeing are two things. Number one, there is substantial evidence of activity involving gunmen in different locations around this complex. Not only the 32nd floor, but the 4th floor, and also down in the Mandalay Bay complex between the Delano and the casino. The gunpowder is there. Many people have reported smelling that. People have reported seeing activity. We have audio and visual evidence of strange activity involving SWAT teams. We have seen that people were held for hours because the police believe that there were still active shooters. And this is, again, after Sheriff Lombardo had already gone out and told the public that it was all over, there was nothing else to see, the shooter was dead, and there are no others. And yet here is irrefutable proof that that story that he was giving is simply not true. The question is, were the shooters, the gunmen in this area, were they firing live rounds or were they firing blanks? Was this part of a drill? That is the question. As always, this raises more questions than we have answers for. But to me, this is worth pursuing further. So I'm going to continue reporting. I will continue investigating. I would like for you to continue to send me your tips to jake@morphonios.com. If you have sensitive material that you do not want to be seen by other parties, email me and I will give you an alternate address that you can send it to. I would appreciate your continued financial support for the investigation. I would like to fly back to Las Vegas and do some more on-the-ground investigation, and so your financial donations would assist me in that. You go to patreon.com/endtimesnewsreport, paypal.me/endtimesnewsreport. You can send a donation directly to the P.O. Box listed in the video description, or you can send Bitcoin to the Bitcoin wallet address in the video description. Thank you all for watching. Please share this video. For the End Times News Report, I'm Jake Morphonio.